Databases don't go cold. Agents stop showing up. They ignore the old leads, and then they start ignoring the new leads when they don't close immediately. The other thing is life changes. Turns out I'm getting divorced now. Turns out I just got moved and got a new job. I lost my job and I can't afford it. You are going to find people that are ready to buy, that are ready to sell. The problem is most people aren't putting in enough contact. It's been a while since we last connected. I was thinking about you and just wanted to check in. How have things been? When someone's ready for you, they think, oh man, she did follow back up with me. I do need to reach out to her now that I'm ready again. We do not need more leads. That is the biggest myth. With 25,000 leads. This is not a lead flow problem. This is almost always a how we work our database problems. The reality is we are missing a lot of money and commission in our database. I'm sure most of you would agree if you were a team lead. Right now we have a team lead on. Kristen, how big is your database currently? How many people are in there?
It's right around 5,000.
How long have you been building that?
9 years.
So 9 years to 5,000 people. I checked ours today. We're at 25,000. We have 9,000, almost 10,000 that are assigned to agents and another 15,000 in pawns, which means if someone's on our team, the day they come in on day one, they've got access to 15,000 people. They do not have to wait for a lead flow, because that's one of the issues that I had when I started the team originally, was someone would come into the team and you would say, okay, well, we're going to turn you on to leads, and in 3 months, hopefully you'll have enough in your database that you can start getting stuff closed. Now with everything running in the ponds, now they've got that access right away. So what we're going to talk about today is how do we use that data advantage? How do we go in and revive our database and re-engage our database to create opportunities? Because I find, especially for our new agents, we have a lot of people that are trying to figure out, hey, what exactly should I be doing? Or maybe they think, man, I don't have enough people to talk to. I don't think that is the case. I think if you come in as a team agent, you should definitely have enough people to talk to. You should have more people to talk to than you can even probably get to. The flip side to that is if you were a solo agent, you should be building your own database. So if you're on here and you're not on a team, then you should currently be building your database anyways, right? If you're with EXP and you're on this call, you have access to Bold Trail, you have access to Close, you have access to Lofty. I don't use Lofty, but you got Bold Trail, you got Lofty, you got Close. You guys should be building your databases, whether you're going in and you're doing it through open houses and every single person at your open house goes in, whether it's sphere of influence, whatever it may be, we want to make sure that we're building these databases and then we're actually working them. So that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about having a clear framework to make sure that you're actually engaging with the contacts that are already in the database. You've got plenty of stuff that you guys could be talking to, right? So how do you reconnect with them naturally, especially when they're old, right? I've heard this from team agents. Well, that lead's a year old. That lead is a month old. That lead is years old. So how do we make sure we're contacting the old people? How do we spot hidden opportunities, discover how prospects are hiding in plain sight? And then we're going to build a simple system to make sure that you're actually following up on these people like you should be. Because again, if you're at EXP, you probably run through FastCap. You know that you're supposed to be getting X amount of contacts each and every day. So we're going to talk about kind of what that looks like. So databases don't go cold. Agents stop showing up. I know because I watch this on a daily basis. I watch everybody attack the new leads. They ignore the old leads, and then they start ignoring the new leads when they don't close immediately. So we're going to talk about some stuff that we can be doing, right? So here's the myth. This is what I hear from agents all the time. Those people have moved on. They found another agent. They're not in the market anymore. They decided to rent. There's no point for me to reach out to them. They're now junk and we should never talk to them again. So most agents, that's what they do. They write off their database after just a couple months of silence. The second they don't close something within a month or two, they're like, too late. Or they come back and someone says, oh, sorry, I already bought a house. And then that person says, okay, great. I guess I'll never talk to you again. But the reality is that people move every 5 to 7 years. That's why I asked Kristen how long she's been building her database, because she could have a lead in there that's 5 years old. She has just now hit the point of maturity on her original leads that likely did buy houses. So if you're on Kristen's team and you're like, well, I don't want to call this lead because it's 5 years old, remember that her oldest leads are now in the cycle where for the next 2 years, those are the people that will likely be moving. So those are the people that we should definitely be circling back to. So keep that in mind when we're thinking about about a minute when we talk about how to reach out to people. How should we be contacting these people? What should we be saying? People are moving. They're always in a cycle. The other thing is life changes. How many times have you had a client that you sold a house to only for them to call you within a year or a month or 2 years and say, oh, hey, you know how I bought my dream home with you last year? Well, turns out I'm getting divorced now. Turns out my husband's a jerk. Turns out I just got moved and got a new job and now I'm getting relocated, or I lost my job and I can't afford it, or oh man, I thought we were having a kid but we're having triplets. I need a bigger house. You don't know what's going to hit people's lives, but the reality is they're changing every single day. Life changes every day. People die, unfortunately. I've had people reach out, my husband died, my wife died, or my parents died. This was their house. So think about all of those misconnections when we write a lead off by saying, oh, they already bought. Well, that's fine. Kristen?
I want to also point out, because we deal with military and that's our niche, even though Jared is correct about the 5 to 7 year cycle, which is very normal and average, but I think it's like 2% of the country is military. They move every 2 to 3 years. So our cycle on our team, I'll call it the in-depth database, which is a lot more limited. It's more like 5 to 700. That's a 2 to 3 year turnover for us.
Yeah, 100%. So that's a big one as well, right? And that's a job change essentially, right? Growing families, right? Most agents simply stop following up, not because the contact went cold, but because the agent disappeared, right? So think about this. You should be building relationships with everyone in your database. You should be becoming friends with the people in your database. Those should be the things that you are doing. But the reality is that does not happen a lot of the time because of exactly this. People stop following up. So ask yourself, how many people in your database have you actually talked to this year? This is a really good question to make you probably feel really bad about what you're doing with your database, right? It's not meant to make you feel good, unfortunately. It's to make you say, oh my gosh, Jared's right. If I had to say out of those 5,000 leads, how many people have we actually talked to in the last 4 months? What's that number look like? If you're a solo agent and you've got 800, 1,000 people in your database, how many of those people have you talked to this year? Out of our 25,000, I would have a hard time believing that we've talked to even 1,000 of them with 15 agents calling on a regular basis. I just have a hard time thinking it's more than that. I really think that there's probably 20,000 plus people in our database that we have not talked to this year. What do? How do we change this? Well, the opportunity is already there. Again, if you're a newer agent, you should be looking at these things like gold because this is your opportunity to go follow up when nobody else has. We do not need more leads. That is the biggest myth. When agents come in, they're like, man, I really need more leads. I'm like, we have 25,000 leads. This is not a lead flow problem. This is almost always a how we work our database problems. So here's the thing. Here's the people that should be in your database. If you're building a database as a new person, past clients, people that already bought and sold from you, they already trust you, they've already done business with you, they are the most valuable. But I will watch people sell their friends and family and referral connections houses and not put them in their CRM because they think, why do I need to put my mom and dad in my CRM? They're my mom and dad. I'm not going to forget their name. I'm not going to forget their number. I'm not going to forget their birthday, right? Whatever it is. But the reality is if they've already bought a house from you, you need to get them in there and then you need to tag them as a past client because there's going to be follow-ups that you're doing for your past clients, specific past client follow-ups. Their other thing is if you are on a team that has a lot of different plugins in their CRM, there's certain things that are going to get to work for you when you put them in your CRM. Our team uses Fellow. If you don't know what Fellow is, it's a home automation tool that essentially gives people like a running estimate of their home value. You can think of it like a Zillow estimate, but on steroids. It gives them a lot more information. It's branded to us. And so one of the things that I tell my agents all the time is, hey, when you sell a buy side, you need to put them into Sierra, our CRM, as a seller now, and you need to put their address in because it's automatically going to put it over into Fellow, and now they're going to get home automation updates from you forever. There's another software that I'm going to throw out here called Broker Blocks. I talked to the CEO this morning. Mainly team leads or people running their own separate CRM. If you're on Bold Trail or you're on Follow Up Boss, this should work with it. They automatically crawl your database and they go in and they find out with AI who they are, how old they are, do they have kids, are they likely to move, what are their hobbies, what do they like to do, and then it auto markets for you. So it automatically is going to reach out to your database and send messages based on who each client is individually. And then once you get them under contract, it automatically automatically starts a point and touch process until closing, where it's saying, hey, this is where you're at in the process. This is what you need to be thinking about next. This is what we're going to do to help you. Congratulations. And then at the end, it automatically sends out everything for Zillow reviews, Google reviews, all of that stuff as well. So it's a really cool software. The only reason I don't have it right now is that it's still getting built up for Sierra. Otherwise, I would already have it plugged into my CRM. Old leads, they raised their hand once, life got in the way, they're still thinking about moving, or maybe they just put it on the back burner, but they need someone to reconnect to them. We see this as a huge one all the time. People that just said, hey, I think I'm gonna rent again. Hey, I think I just re-upped my lease. Hey, I think I need to wait and save a little bit more money. Keep in mind, this is a big one, because I find, again, when people don't buy right away, it's one of those things that people just start saying, okay, well, since they didn't buy, they must not be interested. But we know that's not the case, right? We know that it could just be a timing thing, and we need to circle back around. Sphere of influence. So these are the people that maybe are not past clients yet, but same thing we said a minute ago. A lot of people aren't going to put their friends, their family, their neighbors, their colleagues, they're not going to put them in their CRM because they think, oh, I already know these people. But all of those people should be going into your CRM as well. And however you have to tag them, that's fine. Make sure you're tagging them family or colleague or whatever it may be. So make sure you're putting those people in as well. And then unconverted prospects. They were closed but didn't convert. We see that a lot. Angelica just gave me an example of one downstairs. She just said someone that she showed like 195 houses to just said now they're moving to North Carolina for the next 12 months or 24 months or whatever it may be. So she just lost a deal, but it doesn't mean she lost a deal indefinitely. It means that maybe she's got to refer somebody down to North Carolina. Maybe she sticks in touch every 6 months to say, hey, are you coming back to Richmond anytime soon? Would you like to start your search back? So just keep that in mind. Familiarity creates trust, and trust creates transactions. So if we never talk to these people and all of a sudden we reach out 5 years later to give them one call and say, hey, this is Kristen, just calling because you registered my website 5 years ago, just wanted to see if you wanted to buy a house, and that's it, and I don't call them again for 5 years, I'm likely not selling that person a house either. So we need to constantly be building trust. That's why a lot of coaches don't like more than 75 to 100 leads in an agent's database outside of ponds at a time, because the reality is if you have over 100 leads assigned to you, you likely just aren't working them all. It's just the fact of the matter that it's really tough. That's why we have so many in our ponds, and they stay in the ponds for a reason. So 3-step database revival plan. Step 1, reconnect. Just reach out with a simple personal message. No agenda, no pitch, just a check-in. So again, I want y'all to think about how much damage you guys could do to a CRM if you made this your outlook like every single day for like a week or two. Like if for the next 2 weeks, you were like, for 3 hours a day, if I'm on Kristen's team, I'm going after all of those 5,000 leads that are there for me. Or if you're on my team, right, you have 14,000. Imagine if you start in the new lead pond, and then you go to Jared's past database pond, and then you go to the agents that left the team pond. All of that's a thing on our team, because think about how many agents come in, they don't make it in 6 months, they leave, and they had like 300 leads in their database. We don't burn them, we put them into a pond that says they left the team. It doesn't mean they're bad leads, it means someone stopped following up because they left the team. So if you're on my team and you're listening to this, you should get into our ponds, and you should hit the lead pond, then you should hit agents that left the team pond, then you should hit Jared's database pond, right? I'm out of sales now day to day. So the reality is anybody that wants to call my database of my clients can go do that. I don't care. I just want people touching base. So just think about that. And again, if you're not on a team, you should be looking at this as, what does my database look like right now? Have I put my sphere in? Have I put my colleagues in? Have I put my past clients in? And then can I be doing the same thing? You don't have to have 15,000 people in your sphere to do what we're talking about. You could have 100 or 200 people in your CRM and go do this. You just need to have a base to start working on. Sometimes the database can be too big and it seems overwhelming and daunting to people. That's why we've broken it up into different ponds where they can kind of go attack what they want to attack for the day. We have an off-market pond for off-market potential properties. I think Johnny just put 100 leads in that this week. So just think about what you're attacking, but make the plan to start a dial session and spend a few hours a day just going through with a simple reconnection conversation. It doesn't have to be a hard pitch. You're just trying to start conversations, because imagine how many conversations you can start if you go and hit these 5,000, 20,000 people. Provide real value. Don't just call and say, hey, I'm a realtor in Richmond, Virginia. I just wanted to see if you were looking to buy a house still. That is not real value. Offer them something. Did you see where they live because they're built into Fellow and you see their home address? Maybe you give them a little bit of value on their neighborhood. Hey, I don't know if you know this, but I know you live over in Smoke Tree. You had inquired about some houses a while back or selling your house a while back. Did you know that values are up 6.8% over the last 12 months months in your neighborhood? Have you considered maybe looking at selling again? What's the value that you can offer? A data point they didn't know. What's happening with interest rates right now? Are they up? Are they down? Is it a good time to buy? Is it a good time to sell? It can't be good for both, everybody. I'm going over this at our team meeting tomorrow. You just sound like a salesperson. Hey, is it a good time to buy? It's the best time to buy. Is it a good time to sell? It's the best time to sell. How is it both? Come up with data that's relevant for people and their businesses when you're calling. Don't say, oh man, it's a great time to sell if it's not. Give the actual data. Hey, rates are high right now. Inventory is rising, but values haven't gone down in Richmond. You're still worth quite a bit. In fact, maybe on the buy side, it's going to be a little bit easier for you, even if on the sell side, it's tougher, right? Come up with relevant things to offer them, and then you can reposition, right? Remind them what you do. Well, FYI, I know that you came into our website 3.5 years ago, right? But we still like to touch base with everybody. We're always going to stay on our people, on our clients, on our potentials. And I saw that we didn't get to deal with you 3 years ago. And so I just wanted to remind you, I am still in the business. We're still doing better than ever. If you know anybody that's looking to do anything, we'd love to help. If you did that with your entire database every day, 3 hours a day, 5 days a week, you are going to find people that are ready to buy, that are ready to sell, and that know people that are ready to buy and ready to sell. The problem is most people aren't putting in enough contacts. So this is the way that gives you the framework to do that. A reconnection script. Hey, such and such, it's been a while since we last connected. I was thinking about you and just wanted to check in. How have things been? Now, this may not work on someone you've never talked to before. If it's 5 years old and you never spoke to them, that's fine. But I know, because I've been doing this long enough and I'm personally guilty, that there are a lot of people that did not buy houses from us that I just stopped talking to. I did have a relationship with them. I did talk to them a good amount. We were doing all of the things, and then something happened and we just stopped. So this is a really nice just reconnection. I was thinking about you. I wanted to check in. How have things been? It's not promotional. It invites a response from them without demanding one, and it lets them share what's happening in their life. Well, you know, the last time we talked, I was looking at XYZ, but this has now changed, and now this is kind of where I'm leaning in my life. So this opens it up for them to be able to give you a little bit of insight into what's going on, right? You are not calling them after 3 years to say, hey, I know I talked to you 3 years ago and you weren't ready to sell then. Are you ready to buy or sell now? That's not the conversation. You didn't offer value. You didn't see how they were doing. You didn't show any personability, right? Immediately mentioning your listings or services. Same thing. We want to avoid that. We're not just calling to say, hey, I still sell a bunch of houses. What can I do? And we're avoiding making the first message feel transactional. Maybe you don't even offer your services at all in that first call. Maybe it truly is just a touch in to say, hey, I was talking to you every other week for like 7 months and you didn't end up buying. It's been over a year. I didn't want you to think I forgot about you. I just wanted to reach out and see how you're doing. What's been going on in life? What's new with you? So just your presence at the end of the day is sometimes all that's needed, because what you're really looking for is when someone's ready for you, they think, oh man, you know, Kristen, you know, she did follow back up with me. I do need to reach out to her now that I'm ready again. Thank you so much for tuning into one of our weekly training calls. Obviously you caught the recorded session, but if you're interested in catching any of our live sessions that we do them typically on Mondays. I'm going to put the link below. So if you want to join any of our trainings live so you can participate, so you can comment, ask questions, feel free to come. This is for our EXP group that we have here, our Omega group of agents, but it's open to anybody that wants to join, really. So if you're looking for coaching, if you're looking for training, feel free to hit that link below, and we'll see you on one of our live calls.